the valedictorian who never missed a day of school, the star athlete with a full scholarship, the pastor's kid who led youth group every Wednesday night. When we picture addiction, these aren't the faces that come to mind, are they? But here's what might shock you. Addiction doesn't check your report card, your trophy case, or your family's reputation before it knocks on your door. I'm here today to shatter one of the most dangerous myths in our society, the myth of the good kid who's somehow immune to addiction. This belief isn't just wrong, it's deadly. It prevents us from seeing the warning signs, getting help when we need it, and supporting the people we love most. If you've ever wondered how addiction really works, or if you're struggling to understand how someone you thought you knew could be battling this disease, this video is going to change everything you think you know. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're diving deep into topics that could literally save lives. Let's start with some numbers that'll make you rethink everything. According to recent data, addiction affects people across every demographic imaginable. College students, who we often think of as having bright futures ahead of them, actually have some of the highest rates of substance abuse. Professionals in high-stress careers, doctors, lawyers, executives, show addiction rates that mirror or exceed the general population. Even more surprising, prescription drug abuse often begins in households where parents thought they were doing everything right. The truth is, when we cling to the good kid myth, we're not protecting anyone. We're actually making the problem worse. Because when someone who's supposed to be good starts struggling with addiction, they face a double burden. Not only are they fighting the disease itself, but they're also battling the shame of not living up to an impossible standard. So what really puts someone at risk for addiction? Let's break down the real factors, because understanding these could be the difference between catching a problem early and watching it spiral out of control. First up is genetics. This one's uncomfortable because it means addiction isn't always about choices or character. If you have a family history of addiction, your brain might be wired differently. It's like having a different tolerance for spicy food. Some people can handle more heat than others, and some brains are more susceptible to the rewarding effects of substances. This doesn't mean you're doomed if addiction runs in your family, but it does mean you need to be more aware and more careful. Then there's trauma, and here's where the good kid myth really falls apart. Trauma doesn't only happen to kids from broken homes. The honor student might be dealing with sexual abuse that nobody knows about. The star quarterback might have witnessed domestic violence. The straight A student might be struggling with the pressure of perfectionism that feels crushing. Trauma is an equal opportunity destroyer, and it often hides behind perfect facades. Mental health is another huge factor that gets overlooked. Depression doesn't care about your GPA. Anxiety doesn't skip over kids with college scholarships. When someone is struggling with untreated mental health issues, substances can feel like the only relief available. That prescription medication for ADHD that helps with focus can also trigger addictive behaviors. The anti-anxiety medication that makes social situations bearable can become a crutch that's impossible to put down. Speaking of social pressure, let's talk about how this works in supposedly good environments. The pressure to maintain a perfect image can actually increase the risk of addiction. When you're expected to excel at everything, the temptation to use substances for performance enhancement or stress relief becomes overwhelming. Study drugs like Adderall become common in competitive academic environments. Alcohol becomes the way to decompress after maintaining that perfect image all day. And here's something that might surprise you. Prescription medications are often the gateway for people who never thought they'd struggle with addiction. Someone gets wisdom teeth removed, receives a prescription for opioids, and discovers that these pills don't just manage physical pain, they make emotional pain disappear too. Someone gets prescribed benzodiazepines for anxiety and finds that they work so well that stopping seems impossible. These aren't bad kids making bad choices. These are people following doctors' orders who got caught in addiction's trap. The reality is that addiction is fundamentally about human vulnerability, not moral failing. We all have vulnerabilities. Maybe yours is the need to be perfect. Maybe it's the fear of disappointing others. Maybe it's unprocessed grief or overwhelming stress. Addiction often starts as an attempt to manage these very human struggles. What makes this even more tragic is how the good kid myth prevents people from getting help. When you're supposed to be the success story, admitting you need help feels like admitting you're a fraud. The valedictorian doesn't want to lose their scholarship. The athlete doesn't want to lose their spot on the team. The pastor's kid doesn't want to bring shame to their family. So they suffer in silence until the problem becomes impossible to hide. But here's what I want you to understand. Struggling with addiction doesn't make you less valuable as a human being. Your worth isn't determined by your achievements or your mistakes. You are not your addiction, just like you are not your depression or your anxiety or any other health condition you might face. If this resonates with you, please hit that like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Your engagement helps these messages reach people who might be struggling in silence. The most important thing to remember is this: if addiction can happen to anyone, then recovery can happen to anyone too. The same intelligence that earned those good grades can be channeled into understanding addiction and recovery. The same determination that won those games can be applied to building healthy coping mechanisms. The same heart that wanted to make their family proud can learn to find pride in taking care of themselves. Recovery isn't about going back to being the good kid you were before. It's about becoming the whole, authentic person you were always meant to be. And that person is worth fighting for. Addiction can happen to anyone, which means recovery can too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore the surprising ways that shame actually fuels addiction and what you can do about it. Until then, be kind to yourself and others. You never know what battles people are fighting behind their perfect facades.